Hi, this is Mike Hoey from BDPNN, which is Berkeley Disaster Preparedness Neighborhood Network. And we're going to go over the directions that should be attached to the box of your radio flashlight. There should be something that was taped on here, one piece of paper that if you don't see it taped on here, check inside your red bag to get that. I'm sharing the directions right now on the screen. So if you can look on the screen here now, I'm going to go over that one step at a time. So first off, it says your radio flashlight charger. Buy these to be more prepared. 3 AAA batteries. So if you have 3 AAA batteries, that's really important to have just in case. So also, what you'll also need is, I think, is to be more prepared is having a phone charger cable and the phone charger plug thing. So like I said, I'm just going to go over each part one by one. And it's important to note that inside the box of your radio flashlight is a user's manual. It's a small paper book that unfolds, and you get all sorts of directions that are very detailed and very small print. So we wanted to put together another set of directions that are bigger print with photographs, and that's what you should be looking at now on your paper as I follow. Please follow along as I go through this. Now, when you have your when you pull out your radio flashlight and you try turning it on, well, it's not going to work because the the rechargeable batteries are not plugged in. So step one is plug in your rechargeable battery first. So if we're looking at that, the radio flashlight here on the back, where the crank is, next to the crank is a little door. So if you can put your thumbnail against the bottom part and then pull out that door. These are this light green pack is the rechargeable batteries. So you want to pull those out. And they'll eventually pop out. Trust me. Okay. Then you'll notice there's a wire. If you pull the wire out straight and look at the plastic connector, you'll notice that that connector can only be plugged in one way, right? So you can kind of see by the shape of that connector that it can only be put in one way. And that is, if we look at the bottom here, there's a little hole at the bottom. We want to seat that connector in just the right way, and there's angled area, kind of set it in there in the way that it would connect. So if you slide it in there, and then you push it in with your fingernail, just push that into the connect. And once it has a good connection, you can put the batteries back inside the compartment, and then use the little cover, slip it in. So we're slipping it in there, and then pushing it in to get it all set in there. Now, to check it, you can check the flash. So we're going to jump to number 3 here first. So you can slide that middle button forward. Now I'm using a radio flashlight that is no longer functional, but when you slide this slider forward, this middle button, and you slide it forward, the flashlight should turn on. So slide it back, keep it off for now. We're going to jump back here. We're going to go to number 2. So number 2 says backup AAA batteries are not included. It's a good idea to purchase 3 AAA batteries to keep on hand, but never store the batteries inside the radio, because the batteries will eventually corrode and completely wreck your radio. So don't do that. On the bottom of your radio flashlight is another compartment for the AAA batteries. So slide that little door out. There's a little black ribbon inside there. Keep the ribbon over the opening, and then put the batteries in one at a time. So the flat part of the battery goes against the spring. So if we go flat part against the spring in there, another battery flat part against the spring, like so. And then the last part, there's a spring right there. So it's the flat part against that, against the spring, and all of them are in there. Okay. And then you can close that up by slipping this back inside. But like I said, it's not a good idea, really a bad idea, to store the AAA batteries in there. So I'm going to open them out, and that little ribbon, you pull on that ribbon and the batteries will pop out. It's much harder to pull out the batteries if the ribbon isn't laying against the bottom of there before you put the batteries in. Okay, so your rechargeable batteries should be fairly charged at this point, and you should have checked. And we're going to go to number 3 here. Like I said, you kind of practice sliding that middle button forward towards the end of the radio flashlight, and the flashlight part should turn on. Now, there's also, if you pull this back, you'll get a flashing red light, and then you put it all the way back, you'll get the siren sound. So again, that's this button here. Maybe we can see it better here. So it's a little blurry with the, but that's the middle button here. Sliding it all the way forward for the flashlight, sliding it back to the off position, sliding it back one more for the red flashing light, and sliding it back all the way for the siren sound. Keep it on the off position. It can damage the battery if you don't keep it on the off position. That's a really good thing to keep off. All right, so now we're at number 4. The radio can draw power from the rechargeable battery. So if you slide that button to the far right, it can also be drawing power from the AAA battery. So so we're talking about the slider where the red off position, that's for the radio. So if we slide it back, slide this back to the it looks like a positive and negative on a little box. That's the rechargeable battery. And there's also a little picture of looks like a AAA battery that's got little diagonal lines on it. It's pretty tiny. But again, if you start from the red off position and you go over one notch, then that's using power from the rechargeable batteries. If you go all the way back, then that's using the AAA batteries. I'm going to go over how the radio works. If we're looking at the radio here, this knob here is the tuning knob. The wheel in the front is the volume knob, so you can turn it up and down in volume. And this slider is for changing from the weather band to short wave or AM and FM bands. So all the way back is the weather band. And it's probably a good idea to maybe start with the weather band. If you're in a emergency situation, you can find out where the direction of the wind is coming from and what type of weather you can expect outside. Now, one thing to keep in mind with the antenna is only on a single direction hinge. So don't try to rotate this at all. Just flip it up, and then you can pull out the antenna. All right. Now we're going to go now to number 5, step 5. It's a good idea to store a phone charging cable inside your red backpack. That way you have a way to charge your phone if needed. It's the only way to charge the phone is by using the hand crank. So if I were to charge my phone, I would take, where this little red off button is, move it towards the front, and there's a picture, a little tiny picture of a phone there. Then I would take my charge cable, and instead of having it plugged into a plug, we can plug it into the back here where the USB port is. So we plug that in, take the other end, and then plug that into a phone to charge the phone. And like I said, the only way to charge your phone is by using the hand crank. So the hand crank pops out, and then you turn it, and then you're charging your phone. Now, as you charge your phone, there's going to be a little green light. I don't know if you can see that little green light as I do this. There's this tiny little green light that shows you that it is charging your phone. That is phone charging. Now, some devices might not be able to charge due to the voltage requirements, but I think most phones, whether it's an iPhone or Android, should charge okay, but maybe a tablet or something larger might not. Okay, so now we're at step 6. Charging the rechargeable battery can be done by using the dynamo also. So if you want to charge for the radio or the flashlight part, you can also recharge the rechargeable batteries. But in order to do that, you have to slide the slider where the red off position is. You move it over 1 to the rechargeable battery picture. So the rechargeable battery, again, it's 2 little boxes, one with a plus and one with a minus sign on it. And then once it's on that part where it's, again, really hard to see. It's my camera is going to be kind of blurry. But if you refer to the directions, again, we're at step 6. And if you move that slider to the rechargeable battery, again, with a plus and minus sign, and then you use the hand crank, then you'll notice that as you crank, there's the green light will come on. So that means that the battery is being charged. Okay. And that's labeled CHA, where the little green light lights up. Okay, we're at step 7, the charge cord. Now, there is a charge cord that is included. It's a small charge cord. It's got this, if you can see this end, that's called a mini USB. It's kind of a little bit bigger than a phone charger thing. It's for charging different devices, but that's called a mini USB. So that's another way that you can charge your rechargeable battery. Instead of just cranking, you can plug it in, but you have to be kind of careful. Well, one thing is that you open up this little rubber door here, and you can plug the charger cable in there. Now, this part can be plugged into a charge cable. So you can plug this into a wall outlet. And once that's plugged in, then the green light will appear for the charge to say that it's charging. Little CHA, little green thing. It's important to don't charge this more than 8 hours. If you overcharge it, it can damage the rechargeable battery. Also, it's also really important to turn when you're not using or charging the the radio flashlight, that you keep both of these little buttons in the off position. That will also, you know what? If you have something on the on position and you just leave it, then that can also damage the rechargeable battery. So always keep your when you're not using it, keep it turned off. Now the last thing is number 8, and that's attaching the wrist strap. The wrist strap comes in your it comes inside your box also. See if I can find mine here. Oh yeah, okay. So this is the wrist strap, and it's got this little string part at the end. So we have to slip this little string part inside this tiny little hole for the wrist strap, right above this rubber door. So that's where the wrist strap goes. It's pretty tricky to do, but if you look inside your red backpack and you pull out your starter kit for your first aid kit, at the bottom there you'll see a little safety pin. So if you pull out that safety pin, that can help you put your charge cable in. So you'll have a safety pin. Now if you open up that safety pin, we got the pointy part, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide the string part into this tiny little hole. Now in order to do that, if you get the end part of that wrist strap close to the hole and you hold it with your finger, you can take the pin and jam in the string inside that hole. Now it's a little tricky to do and take some patience, but if we can kind of just take, you can even use a paper clip or any kind of wire that's a stiff wire and small enough that can jam into that little hole. And again, it might pop out, but takes a little time and patience to put that that string inside that tiny little, and it can be very frustrating even with the pin to jam that inside there, because the pin is pointy. It's adds an extra challenge to it, but you can kind of find a way to just push and slip in the cord, maybe work from the side, push and slip in. So once you have the string halfway in, you can use the pin part in the other tiny hole. Once you get that into that other tiny hole, you can try to pull that little string part from that end out. And like I said, it is challenging. It takes a little bit of time and effort to get that out. But all it takes is a little bit of persistence, trial and error, and maybe even a little bit of luck to get that to pull through. So once you pull that through, that's kind of what it looks like. You have the string coming out with a loop on this side. And like I said, it can take a little bit longer for you than it did for me. It is, like I said, it's a little tricky, but once you get that loop through, you can put that through like so, and now you have a wrist strap. And I think it's a kind of a good idea if you can get the wrist strap on. It can help when you carry it, especially if you're using the flashlight portion. You can again, you're going to use the flashlight using this middle button, sliding that forward to get the flashlight. And it's good to kind of have it set up for you if, you know, before an emergency happens. Now, in order to store your radio, you may want to actually unplug your rechargeable battery, just to. But if you want to keep it so that it's at the ready, you might want to keep it plugged in. So it's up to you, but it's very important, again, like I was saying, that you make sure that your radio, flashlight, both of these little slider switches are on the off position, right? So make sure those are on the off position before you store it. We can put this little cover on, and you may want to keep it in the box for safe storage. You'll have more room in your backpack if you don't, but it'll keep your flashlight radio a little bit more protected if you keep it in the box. And that's also a good place to keep your batteries. If you have batteries, keep your batteries in your box. And keep your radio flashlight in your red bag. I hope that was helpful for you. Don't forget to also keep your charger cable. A spare charger cable is a good thing to have. And if you have a spare charger cable and you keep your spare charger cable in your red bag, then you'll remember whenever you need a spare charger cable, hey, check your emergency kit for your red bag. There's also the other small charger cable with the mini USB connection that can also go in your red bag. Maybe keep that in your box as well. And don't forget your safety pin. Safety pins can be useful in if you have a splinter or something. It's helpful for something like that. They're useful in lots of ways. So keep this in your emergency kit, in your Ziploc bag here, and that way you'll know where there's the safety pin. Okay. Again, I hope that was helpful, and I hope you enjoy using your safety kit, your grab and go kit, emergency kit, and thanks. If there's hope that was helpful for you. Thanks, everyone. Take care.